Hello and welcome to another episode of Ethnobotany. In this episode we'll cover Serbian ethnobotany, some of the herbal plants used for medicine and some of the herbal plants used for folkloric purposes. Let's begin. The Slavic people in general have used multiple herbs for healing throughout history, such as wormwood, common century, and garlic. Other plants include wild ginger, devil's turnip, and castor bean. Certain arrow plants such as sea quill, asparagus, parsley, and celery were also used for medicine purposes as well. White oak and pomegranate were also used by the Serbian people for medicine purposes. In northern Serbia, they mixed wine with other plants like nightshade, henbane, absinthe, and American pokeweed for the purposes of inducing hallucinations. The most important healing medicines in ancient Serbian tradition include garlic, peony, basil, sweet flag, and yarrow, which we'll be covering next. In traditional Serbian healing, garlic was the most common prophylaxis used in the area. It was also used heavily by the poor people of Serbia as a food source, and was the most trusted plant within Serbia for the longest time. In the folklore, it's believed that garlic contains healing, protective, and spiritual powers. During Lent, a dish with garlic in it was an obligation for that season. And in ancient Serbia, epidemics of typhoid fever, cholera, plague, and dysentery were often treated with garlic, as a preventative and a curative. In the ancient thoughts of the Serbian people, there was no disease or ailment that could not be cured by garlic. One folk remedy to cure diarrhea was mixing oak bark with garlic. Another folk remedy was mixing it together with pumpkin seeds and thyme, as well as summer savory and horse mint, to create a deworming medicine. And even to this day, the oral tradition of these types of folk medicine still exists in parts of Serbia, as they have been for centuries. Now on to the next plant. The peony is important symbolically due to its association with the Battle of Kosovo, due to the fact that the red flowers seem to represent the blood of the heroes that perished in that battle. This battle happened in the 1300s. It also appears in many epic poems within Serbian culture. It has historically been used as a medicine to treat epilepsy, hysteria, and whooping cough, as well as hemorrhoids. Now on to the next plant. Basil is the chief plant in most Serbian Christian rituals, and is cultivated heavily in monasteries and gardens. It has historically been used to make different skin ointments and balms since ancient times, and in the past they are primarily used for royalty. So popular was basil that it even became part of the scientific pharmacology of the Middle Ages in Slavic regions. Basil tea was used to treat, in the past, colds, sneezing, snake bites, insect bites, and the Black Plague. And there's also historical use of it as a means of treating intestinal gas and other digestive problems. Now on to sweet flag. Sweet flag has historically been used to make a diuretic. It was also used to make cough drops back in that time, and as a way of improving digestion. During wartime, it was mixed with coriander to make wartime pepper, which was a substitute for black pepper as a spice. And now to conclude with yarrow. Yarrow has historically been used as a folk medicine to cure a diverse range of illnesses, ranging from healing wounds to stopping stomach problems and treating kidney and liver problems. It has also historically been used against asthma and kidney stones. As of right now, many of the chemicals extracted from yarrow are used to a certain degree in modern medicine. Now on to ritual plants within Serbian tradition. Since ancient times within human civilization, people believe that demons can dwell in plants, animals, rocks, and people. And in many temperate regions around the world, it's believed that springtime is the best time to eliminate or reduce the amount of demons within an area, since such demons bring illnesses, dangers, and tragedies to people. In these traditions, Serbia is not that much different. And like many of our primordial cultures, there is a heavy belief in the divine power of plants. In ancient pre-Christian Serbia, there is a heavy amount of tree worship, which was also dominant in other European nations. The old Slavic people believed that the head god dwelt in a tree in the heavens, and the old Slavic word for Their god was called Perun, which translates to the forested mountain, also known as an oak. Now onto the primary ritual plants of Serbia. You'll start with the apple. The apple is an important woody tree in Serbian folk tradition. An apple is often given as a gift to prove one's friendship to an individual. There's very short Serbian stories where heroes are asked to fetch apples, often guarded by dragons or in hard-to-reach areas. In Serbian tradition, apples come from the heavens themselves, and the first apples can only be eaten after St. Peter's Day because on that day, St. Peter shook the apples within heaven. And it's believed that eating apples prior to that day will cause hail to fall and destroy the crops. In wedding ceremonies, when a man proposes to a woman, the woman responds by throwing an apple to the husband-to-be. And on the wedding day, guests are not allowed into the girl's house until they shoot an apple stuck on a spear, lifted as high above the house as possible. Now on to the linden. The pre-Christian Serbians believed that the tilia tree, or linden, was a holy tree and performed rituals and offered sacrifices to it, as if it was a deity. In modern days, all holy icons, such as crosses, are carved only from linden, and this plant is currently used in folk tradition to protect livestock and crops from demons. Now on to hazel. In common folklore within Serbia, it is believed that the hazel tree has magical powers. A branch could grant wishes. It is also believed that you can use a hazel tree branch to kill the devil himself, as well as shapeshift people into animals, and resurrect the dead. There's also a Serbian custom where a pregnant woman carries a hazelnut with her, and after she gives birth, and in order to power up their young children, the newborn babies are bathed in a bath with a hazelnut in it. Now on to the walnut. In folklore of Serbia, it is believed that the walnut is a tree of the underworld, and is ruled by evil spirits and witches. This belief stems from the fact that the walnut tree will not allow plants to grow underneath it. It was also used in amulets to ward off evil spirits, and as a treatment for hemorrhoids. During the Christian era, crosses were made from walnut wood, and walnut leaves were used for dyeing linen as protective garbs. A mixture of walnuts and honey were also used to cure impotency. Now on to basil. Basil has been used as a herb for many rituals from birth to death. When a newborn baby was born, a sprig of basil was put on the pillow of the newborn baby. When a person died, basil was planted on the grave site. During the ritual of Epiphany, dried basil twigs are placed in water in the morning. During Christmas, people are adorned with basil. Perfume made from basil is used extensively by the church within this region. Basil was placed pretty much everywhere, including tables of food and on the wells of water. It's also used to cast out demons and creating bombs and amulets. And one of the common sayings within Serbia is that the soul of a good and pious man smells like basil. Now on to garlic. Since pre-Christian times, it has been thought that garlic could be used to fight against demons, devils, and dark magic. And this continued during the Christian era and even into modern times. Now on to the ethnobotany of the hawthorn within Serbia. One Serbian mythology piece is that demons, witches, and vampires can be killed by hawthorn stakes through the heart. And a stake made of hawthorn was also used as a barrier to prevent disease from getting into your house. Now on to wormwood. In Serbia, there's a tradition of making a bitter liquor made from wormwood and other healing herbs to cure migraine. Now on to nettle. There's an iconic saying that says that thunder will not strike the nettle. In Serbian folklore, prior to the first thunderstorm of the season, the Serbian people would cover their houses in nettle to protect against the storm. It was also used as a folkloric medicine to make females look more feminine. Now onto the marigold. The marigold, once it was introduced to Serbia, became part of traditional love songs within Serbia. It was also used in love potions and other love-based folklore. Now on to our final plant, laserwort. In Serbian mythology, it is believed that laserwort can be used to unlock all padlocks and all locks in general. It has also historically been used to lay tormented spirits to rest and remove curses and create protective spells. Well, that covers everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to me on BitChute for a greater variety of content, 4 videos a week. And thank you to all my subscribers on both platforms. I appreciate it.